Uh, yep. So I've refiled in state court. I don't know if the defendants thought I wasn't going to or not, but I did it today. Honestly, it took me about a week to figure out what the process was that I needed to go through. I needed to find what is called an EFRP, I think it's called. I used something called Rapid Legal, and I had to use. You have to use one of these systems in order to file in state court. You have to e-file. So you can. I think I could have gone down there or like made an appointment, but I think being able to e-file is important, and if you want to have agility, I think. I mean, look, getting it done is the most important thing by far. Getting it done is the most important thing. So it doesn't matter how you do it. I was ready to go down there, but I really was like, you know what, just figure it out. Just figure out how to do it. It'll take you some time, and it did. It did, and it's really annoying. But you'll figure it out. You figure it out. It takes a lot of work. It's a lot. It's a completely insane process. But yeah, no. I mean, I don't know. You're not really supposed to fight. This isn't a fight at the defendants per se. This is just a move for justice. So when you have this, I don't even want to read this. See, Lucifer Forever. Now, the comment in and of itself could be funny, but it's coming from someone who's sort of associating themselves with Lucifer. Now, I don't really care. Go ahead and associate yourself with Lucifer. It's not like that's a real thing, and but you can associate with it if you want. I mean, that's your free speech, I guess. But when it consistently are people that are sort of advancing ignoble or torture on people, then you start to think, maybe I shouldn't be so lenient about Luciferian kind of symbology or I don't know who this is talking here, but I'm not ever going to let it go. Ever. I'll go to the Supreme Court if I have to. I'm not letting it go. It's never going away. I know what logic is. I know what happened, and I'm going to get remedied. And that's it. I don't care if I have to appeal. I don't think I will. Everything is proceeding nicely as of now. If you think anyone's going to scare me with attorney's fees, please. You're talking to the wrong dude. I am not afraid. When you're right, you don't really have to be afraid. I have zero. I'm not even worried. The funny thing is, though, let me tell you, the defendants. Well, actually, I think if your net worth, I think if you have more than $2 million or something, you can't ask for attorney's fees. That might be a thing, or you can. I don't know. But they could have asked for attorney's fees, and they might have gotten them, but they didn't even ask in federal court. They didn't even ask. They didn't request them, even though, based on what I read, the dismissal type that I got was a type of dismissal that is associated with paying attorney's fees. They just have to be requested prior to the dismissal. Is my understanding. This is my understanding based. And look, I'm having to understand this based off. I'm having to learn it. I have to. I don't have a choice. I'm in court. But I thought that was very curious why they didn't ask for attorney's fees in the first place. Frankly, I think it's a total absurdity. Frankly, I think this should be a pretty open and shut case. It's pretty obvious what happened. YouTube and Google are liable under promissory estoppel. It's very clear in the complaint that I put out. Very clear. There's just no denying it. There's too many violations. There are too many violations of their terms of service or policies for them not to be liable under promissory estoppel. Now, also, I wasn't aware at the time of the injury. I wasn't aware that these were not real promises, which means promissory estoppel essentially. So I was under the impression that it was like I was taken care of here. Like I wasn't going to be cyberstalked on YouTube. I was under that impression, and I was incorrect, unfortunately. But there was a lot of reason to believe that I was safe from that, and I wasn't. YouTube pretends not to condone cyberstalking, but they condone it. I know they do. I mean, as a pro se litigant, what I'll say is what most of the attorneys will try to do is scare you and ignore you. Those are the tactics used. I don't even use tactics. I just tell the truth. And I read a book, by the way. I read Michael Thompson's novel, actually. I read, it's called Piggy. I read the whole thing, cover to cover. Wow. I actually wasn't bad at it. It wasn't bad, but it was obviously written by somebody with an antisocial, violent, psychopathic tendency, because there's an overwhelming amount of torture in it. And the torture outweighs at times the literary value. There's good doesn't prosper anywhere. It sort of is tortured. It sort of aligns very well with the complaint and the behavior displayed by Mr. Thompson and Mr. Holmes in real life, which I thought was disturbing, and that's really why I read it. There are lines there are lines that I could take from the novel, which I'm telling you is like, it's very gory. I found it to get better. It needed to be edited or rewritten like one time. I think it needed a pass because it's just. I mean, if you use that much violence, I feel like you should. There should be some subtlety to it, but there's no subtlety. It's overt, and it gets sort of fun and anime-esque towards the end, and it builds climactically. And there's obviously some competence on Mr. Thompson's. It's under the pseudonym Tyler D. There is some competence there. There's a writer there. It was far from the worst book I've ever read. I enjoyed a lot of it. I also found a lot of it quite disturbing, but that's only because I know. If I didn't know of the real life person that wrote it, I don't think I would like read another one of their books, but I would think, oh, that was fun. That was kind of funny. That was kind of fun. Not funny, but fun. It was sort of like, it's like an anime. It felt like an anime, a season of an anime. But it was very grotesque, very depraved. Wow. A lot of torturing people, a lot of I mean, look, I'm actually over it. I'm over I feel like I'm getting better. I've done a lot of work on myself. Filing the lawsuit is helping quite a bit. Once I get the full remedy, I will have healed. But I know what happened. I have to take care of it. But I can always divide my art from the artist. I don't. Although in this case, the connections are. Let's just say I never. it's just sort of unbelievable what people can be like. It's extremely violent, but it's also extremely denigrating. The people in it are denigrated and constant, and there's a lot of rotting flesh and cannibalism. I believe there's some I'm pretty sure rotting. A lot of and murder. It opens with the murder of a son. The main character's name, I don't even know, is the main character John or is it Abraham? I would say it's probably Abraham. But Abraham as in Abrahamic religions, and he sort of takes the place of God. He's also became a man the same year that a certain I don't know. There were some interesting parallels, I thought. Yeah, no, it's a really bad American Psycho iteration. It's like someone who really just wants to like live out their violent psychopathic tendencies, but maybe they also want to tell a story too. But they're not really looking to comment on the. They're commenting on their segment of the culture, not what the culture actually is. They're not an observer. It's non-observant. It's not empathic. It's very. It's a piece of work. It's art. It's a book. It's a book. It wasn't without its merits. And I thought that I bought the hardcover. I don't know if I can show it because of copyright reasons, but it was actually it's not it's very violent though, very grotesque. It's sad to see that the author is ruined his life by being such a grotesque. If he kept it in his literature, he may have fared better, I think. But I do believe that he's going to be found guilty of torture and on some level at some point. And it now seems more obvious that, it was already obvious, but reading the book was like, oh, wow. Yeah, this was written by this guy. Yeah, this makes sense. And now there's like an abundance of evidence, and I really read it for evidence, but I also didn't hate it. I didn't hate the book. What can I say? It had some climactic action. It seemed to get better as it went on. There's a lot of stupidity in it because the author is so obsessed with violence that I think that a lot of things are lost on the author, and so it can sometimes be trite. A lot of cliches, a lot of really bad cliches, but ultimately far from the worst book I've ever read. Interesting cover, interesting book, well made. It was $75 and plus like $25 shipping, so it was expensive, but it's a good book. I don't know if I would keep it on my shelves. It's a bit disgusting, but it's fascinating. I would give it a read. If you can take it, as much as I don't like the individual that wrote it, or I have an issue, I feel like I can separate the writing from. Well, I can. But I also can use it to understand and contextualize. It's very overt, but I don't mind if people read it and like it. I don't wish harm upon anybody, so I would wish. I do fear that the book is. I don't know. I guess you have to read it for yourself. Personally, I try to not get offended by anything. So, in terms of literature. I'm not talking about direct insults or harassment or cyber stalking, but in literature and art, I try to just be like, roll with the punches and realize that there's a lot of different genres, but I think this was like, it was okay. I give it like 3 stars out of 4. Interesting read. Definitely an interesting read. Definitely someone who has like watched anime and had like idea for there's a lot of action, so things are happening all the time. Even if they're kind of dumb, they're happening, you know. So it really moves quickly. But there's no empathy anywhere. There's no. You kind of don't ever get the sense, and I don't want to give anything away, but you don't ever get the sense that anything, you know, like a hero is going to emerge. Let's just say, you definitely don't get that sense. Maybe the opposite. I don't even like. I would read passages or show the cover art, but I wouldn't want to get a copyright strike. Would I? Now would I? You know. It doesn't matter if you miss out on this book. I think we should all be reading a lot more than we do. You know, like reading is a good thing to get into, but. It's very depraved, a very depraved perspective. It's a very depraved perspective that you get from Piggy. It's called Piggy. It's a good concept, a decent execution, but a utterly depraved concept. Like conceit, rather. The conceit is depravity. Please, if you're called Lucifer, stop coming in here. What are you doing? Why would you even? Why? I don't. There needs to be some sort of change to this system. I should be able to stream without this. There's got to be some sort of fix. It doesn't have to be so brilliant, but there could be I'm struggling to understand why YouTube thinks it's appropriate to. My lawsuit's going to change the law. It's going to change Section 230. It's going to change I think it's going to change previous case law. I think that's what's, it just is what it is. The way that they define publisher is inaccurate. It's inaccurate. How they have conflated the word publisher. It's not a publisher's duty when there's violating content on a ISP and there's promise in the contract to remove such contact, or even a heavy implication that they will do so. Even a heavy implication that they do so makes it, I felt safe on YouTube. I thought they would definitely remove this based on copyright law, which they were in violation of it. They were. The right to sue for damages is another thing, which I've also filed in the copyright court. I've asked the state court to not, because it's continued action. I've said I'm not filing for damages for copyright, but it's still true that YouTube was in violation of copyright law, and therefore their Section 230 immunity is very shaky. Additionally, I think that the pre-existing case law for the word publisher, the way that it's been conflated with just someone who removes third-party content, I think that that's actually an ISP's duty, even more so than a typical publisher. It can be a publisher, but what's the difference? The impetus. So if there's a report sent to a moderator and then they take something down, that's not the act of a publisher. That's the act of an ISP, a service provider. Now, if there's this video is not doing well, or I don't like the creative way this video is, or I don't like this content, I just don't like it, I'm gonna take it down. That's a publisher typically, or the audience wants something different. Oh my God, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, they are. I don't know why they argued. They did a bad job in federal court, in my opinion. They really did. They really effed it up. They really should have just waited till I don't know what they. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win. I have the truth on my side, major, big time, like big time. And I'll fight for it. And honestly, I will get my message across. I will win for sure. The torts were violated. They were done. Therefore, I will win. I don't, how much I win. I think it needs to be quite a bit. I do. I think it needs to be quite a hefty sum. And I think an investigation needs to be done immediately into what else YouTube is allowing to happen. There is no telling what else there's trying to. Section 230, I don't know about. Scary. Scary, scary, scary. What a week, dude. Tolkien. I figured it out, dude. I finally figured out how to file in the state court. Took me so long. But I finally did it. And it's so tedious that you just want to fucking... Ugh. The worst part about the law is it's so tedious. It's so incredibly tedious at points. But I think you just know when you know. Once you filed something, you can't just what happened. The judgment before was no judgment. There was no judgment. There was a lack of jurisdiction. Therefore, there needs to be a final judgment on this. Absolutely, I need a final judgment. That will be a big remedy for me. Just there being a judgment, just so I know, and so other people know too. What's acceptable, what's not. What world are we living in? Also, what has YouTube done? Has Google interfered in any capacity with any of my accounts? Have they changed any kind of like limits or like login time? Do they expire my sessions on certain accounts? I mean, are they like engaging in any type of foul play behind the scenes? That I think that has to be looked at because I think there might be an antitrust case in mind because they have I have Gmail. YouTube's the only reliable thing I know how to stream on without like and reliably understand what's happening. And it's also the most dangerous platform because I've had interactions on other platforms. YouTube is by far the most treacherous, by far, without a shadow of a doubt. It's got the most crazy stuff. Like you can get really ripped to shreds on this platform, and I want to see that change. I really do. I think legally it has to. I think that the law's there. I just don't think it's been argued properly. I will win. I will win. I know. I know. I will. Because it's the logic is you can't argue with solid logic. You just, I mean, if you lie, you can sort of argue, but then you show yourself to be a liar. But it came to me. Actually, you know that me and my friend Brandon, we have a provisional patent for a really great product. I actually have been working on it. I don't know how to. I don't think I know how to share screen. I don't think I do. Oh, I got another copy right here for the Hollywood tapes. This is a film that I have compiled using my content, and there's some original songs in there. It was infringed because the effective date was October 2nd, 2023, and there was an entire mirror site containing about 20 or so of these copyrights that was up until like October 5th or 6th or 7th, and I only knew about it about September 21st at the earliest. I think it was a few days. It was after that. Oh, there's also 71 or 84 rather videos that were stored in a G drive that were available for download that I've also pre-registered. We'll see when I get the registration form on that, but I've already filed with the copyright board. This is the Stanley Mosque courthouse. Look, I'm going to argue that they should come to me. That I shouldn't have to go to the north. This is triable here, okay? There's no reason. Google's got a lawyer here, so do they. Continue the action and let's just get to it. But I think I argued pretty well here. Hmm. I mean, this is pretty sound reasoning. Basically, it states that there were so many violations from the Hollywood Laughingstock channel in terms of Google's cyber harassment policies that it's impossible for there not to be promissory estoppel. That there was just so many violations. There was like a bunch, and it just goes on and on. And they were so like exact that I think it's impossible to argue otherwise. I mean, and then the other parties are. I mean, it's not going to be hard it's not going to be hard to explain. Now, you do have to get through the process. It's a process, but also now I know it's a process. So, oh, Pale Blue Eye. I don't. The movie. I think I watched it and didn't like it. I don't think I read it though. There's not going to be any attorney's fees unless Michael Thompson and Gregory Holmes are both deposed. Otherwise, there's no due process. I wouldn't be surprised if this was removed back up to federal court, to be quite honest. I mean, YouTube was a violation of copyright law. They were. I mean, they knew about videos that were copyright law. So, like, you have to have the registration prior to filing, apparently, to receive damages. And that I didn't. So I got the registrations during the suit, which means if it's a continued action, it's unlikely that I'm going to be able to get. It is a new action, but it's continued because there's a stay on the federal. And I just said I'm not going to sue for damages on copyright in this suit. So I did a separate. I filed 2 lawsuits actually this week. I filed one on the copyright infringements of Mr. Thompson, and then I filed one in state court. Defamation is enough to bring general jurisdiction, and there's quite a bit of defamation. I think intentional infliction of emotional distress grants jurisdiction. I had to learn. It's pretty obvious that there was IIED occurring. It's pretty obvious. It's really going to be impossible to say otherwise. And the fact that YouTube didn't do any diligence in trying to stop it is so it's in anime they would say unforgivable. Now I don't like not forgiving people, but there's simply no explanation other than they were negligent and in breach of their own policies. Not to mention their abuse of litigation tactics. I find them to be abusive. Yeah, so it's back on. The suit is still going. Oh, I didn't like Lovecraft Country. I thought it was terrible. Why is your name I Live Under a Bridge? Why? You're not going to come in here and redefine what you've done. And I appreciate Brandon for being such a bright spot, but you have to learn to apologize and take accountability, and then you can be forgiven. And Michael, in my opinion, it's such a waste. It's such a waste for him to engage in such terrible activities because he has talent as a writer. And he could definitely become good. Quite good, I'm sure. But it's just, he's committed a lot of what I think are crimes. A lot. A lot. And I think he likes doing it too. But I don't lie. Like I said, I don't lie. So just because I like, I don't have a vendetta. I try not to live like that. But just because I'm suing him doesn't mean I have to say his book sucked. It didn't suck. It had some good points to it. It did. Why is your name I lived under a bridge? Why? What is that? What does that mean? What's the meaning of that? I'm so sick of the torture of homeless people and all that. It's not funny. I don't think it's funny. I think it's very, very alarming. Very alarming. And I think that I have pursued this case with urgency for that reason. But look, I know how to fucking file a lawsuit. Dude, I've gotten a lot better. Yeah, I'm not perfect still, but have you guys ever been gaslit before? Who's I? Who are you? Who are you? You get called a troll a lot? Are you harassing people a lot? No. You're not me. Sorry, buddy. That's a lie. That's a lie. Don't wanna be you. Don't wanna be you. Don't wanna be you. I don't wanna be you. Sometimes the world saves you, and then it tears you apart. Sometimes the one you give everything to goes and breaks your heart. And I didn't think it'd be easy, but I didn't think it'd be this hard. Seems like the one and only is the only one that pulls you through. Even if I'm talking about you. You know that it's true, yeah. I don't wanna be here when the storm is hanging overhead. Don't wanna be you when the rain is over and you're standing by my bed. Don't wanna be you, the things I wanted are not the things I get, I know that it's true. You do too. I don't wanna be you, you, oh, you. And even if I only think about now and again, I'll never forget those halcyon days when you were my best friend, and you said it was true, and that's when I knew. 'Cause you said it's true, 'cause you said that you don't believe me, and that I don't have a clue, but still don't wanna be you when the storm is raging overhead, when the rain is over and you're still staying by my bed. Oh, when the things I wanted are not the things I get, and know that it's true. Even after everything that you do, yeah, I don't wanna be you don't wanna be you. Remember the days when you told me love and light. Then I show you my darkness and you don't even say goodbye. And not to mention at the beginning, there was never a hello. And that's exactly what I don't wanna be you when the storm is raging overhead. Don't wanna be you when it's over, just standing by my bed. And all the things I ask for are not the things I get. You know it's true. Even after all the things you do, I don't wanna be you. Storm, it's raging overhead. I don't wanna be. And when it's over, I'm just standing by my bed. And not the things I get, you know that it's true. Everything that I do, I don't wanna be you. I don't wanna be you, even when the storm is raging overhead. I don't wanna be you, even when it's over, just standing by my bed. Don't wanna be you, even when the things that I get, what I want. Don't wanna be you, and you know that it's true. I don't wanna be you. That's a new one I wrote with I'm gonna do a duet, the girl with that. When you cry at night, when you try and just can't get by. It was a time I defined every minute of my life was just like you. When you cry at night, yeah. Oh, Always rushing but never touching the real things in life. Every time you look up, things don't turn out right. For all of my faults, I have become strong in the face of a journey that's taking too long. And you cry at night, cry at night, and you try just can't get by. There was a time to find every minute of my life, and I was just like you. And you cry at night. Cause sitting up in my room, I keep thinking about you. And I must confess, I'm a pest for you. You sit up in my room, I'm back here thinking about you. Yeah. I'm just a mess with the thing for you. Tell me when you love, never need to know. Tell me if I'm far, if I'm getting close. Ever since the day that we first met, all I can is think, and I got no regret. Ever since the day that we met, I can't get off my mind, and I can't seem to regret everything in pain. But one thing is true, it might take years what I'm gonna do. I'll be sitting up in my room, I'll be here thinking about you. I'm just a mess with anything for you. I'll be sitting up in my room and back in thinking about you. Just a thank you. Tell me I'm impressed with my happiness. All it takes is just one simple call from you. Turn my heart around, get me off the ground. Pretty baby, please tell me what I'm gonna do. Tell me what is up, I need to know. Tell me if I'm far, if I'm getting close. There is just one thing that I can buy you. Baby, that's what I'm gonna do. I'll be sitting up in my room, back here thinking about you. And I'm just no mess with a thing for you. I'll be sitting up in my room, I'm back here thinking about you. I'm just a mess with a thing for you. How can you want me down? Tell me where to start. 'Cause every time you smile, I feel trembling in my heart. I have but one concern, How can I give you till I take on these? What I'm gonna do? I was sitting up in my room, I'll be back here thinking about you. I must confess, I'm a mess for you. Be sitting up in my room, I'll be back here thinking about you. Must confess, I'm a mess. Up in my room, and I'll be back here thinking you. Just a mess with the thing of you. I was sitting up in my back here thinking about you. Turn off the news. Nothing left that we can do. Forget about your future plan. 90 days is gonna blow. Break the bank and break those. It's the end of what we know. Party till you hit the floor. This is gonna go. And have you heard that our world is coming to an end? Lose it all in the fall. We'll never be each other again. It's the last chance to live it up, make it count, live it up. Talk with your body now. Forget about all that you can do. This is our last chance, our last chance. Quit your job, turn off the news. There's nothing left that we can do. Forget about your future plans. 90 days is gonna blow. Break the bank and break code. It's the end of what we know. Party till you hit the floor. 90 days is gonna blow. Mr. Dance floor, oh, it's hotter than the sun. Mr. Dance floor, and don't stop till we're done. Mr. DJ, it's my jam, turn it up, take it out. Talk with your body now. Forget about all the people do that. This is our last chance, our last chance. Quit your job, turn off the news. There's nothing left that we can do. Forget about your future plans. 90 days, it's gonna go. Break the bank and break close. It's the end of what we know. Party till you hit the floor. 90 days, it's gonna go. In 90 days, it's gonna go. Break the bank and break close. 'Cause it's the end of what we know.
goodbye to you before in 90 days it's gonna blow. I'm on the edge of glory, the way I'm hanging my morning with you. 'Cause I'm on the edge of glory, I'm hanging my morning with you. I'm on the edge, the edge, the edge, the edge, the edge, the edge, the edge. I'm on the edge of glory. Ain't got no reason to. There ain't no reason you and me should be alone tonight. Yeah, baby, tonight. Yeah, baby, no. I got a reason that you should take me home tonight. Oh, I need a man who thinks it's right when it's so wrong tonight. Yeah, baby, tonight. Yeah, baby. Right on the limits where we both belong tonight. It's hard to feel the rush, to rush the dangerous. I'm gonna run with you to the edge with you, and we can both fall in love. 'Cause I'm on the edge of glory, when I'm hanging on a moment with you, and I'm on the edge of glory, and I'm hanging on a moment with you. I'm on the edge, the edge, the edge, the edge, the edge, the edge, the edge. I'm on the edge, the edge, the edge, the edge, the edge. I'm on the edge of glory, and I'm hanging on a moment with you. I'm on the edge with you. One shot for kiss the other side tonight. Yeah, baby, tonight. Yeah, baby, tonight. I'm on the edge of something final that we need all night. All right, oh, put your shades. Put your shades on, 'cause I'll be dancing in the flame tonight. Yeah, baby, tonight. Yeah, baby, tonight. It isn't if everyone knows my name tonight. Alright, alright. It's hard to feel the rush. And to brush the danger. I'm gonna run with you to the edge with you, where we can both fall in line. I'm on the edge of glory, and hanging on the moment with you. I'm on the edge of glory. Oh, and I'm hanging on a moment with you. Oh, no, I'm on the edge. Yes, the edge. The edge. The edge. The edge. I'm on the edge of glory. Oh, I'm hanging on a moment with you. I'm on the edge with you. The edge with you. And I'm on the edge And I'm hanging on a moment with you. But I'm on the edge of worry. I'm hanging on a moment with you. The sound here of the edge, the edge, the edge, the edge, the sound edge of glory. And I'm hanging on a moment with you, on the edge with you. You don't know what you're saying, it's not just cruel, it's defamation. I was 18 years old when I learned to play the piano in earnest. The piano in the dorms at the University of Iowa. I played with a grim determination for hours and hours on end. In a matter of months, I could improvise fairly well. Still no rigid concept of theory, but now, I think I got the gist of it. And it was nothing like what I thought. And you don't know what the fuck you're saying. It's not just fucked up, it's defamation. You don't even know what you're saying. It's not just fucked up, it's defamation. Don't mistake my kindness for weakness, so you just might get bit. We're living in a depraved situation, you're probably gonna take some hits. And don't you start with the only one who can speak to the angels, who speaks to the angels. They know what you've done and to come and take their place in time and space and time. You don't know what you're saying. It's not just cool, it's litigation, and you don't even know what the hell you're saying. Cause it's not just fucked up and nasty and mean and awful. It's defamation. It's not just fucked up and angry and mean and cruel, man. It's defamation. It's such a perfect day. I'm glad I spent it with you. My phone's dead, I don't play lyrics. I will though. My heart's black and I'm stuck in fate. And you've been knowing it for so many days. Oh, how could I be so set in my ways? Did you know I could feel like that? My heart is black and in the knees. And starting troubles, but you just said these. I know you feel it, 'cause I'm feeling it too. I think I'll feel it until June. When I'm stuck in a phase, or when I'm stuck in space, would you bring me back before I do it again? Oh, I know you're feeling it, 'cause I feel it too. And I was feeling it the last time until June. Until June. And life is yours, but I wouldn't admit it. Now too late to fix it. Lord, it hurt, and it's not even soon. We'll be feeling it until June. So when I'm caught in a phase, and then I'm stuck in a haze, could you bring me back before I do this again? I know you're feeling, 'cause I feel it too. Will you save me the next time after June?
I don't know that one. I gotta rest my voice.